5 elements of a presentation. I'm often asked, what are the steps, or what is the process in making a DM or a decision maker process? It really reminds me back when I was in fifth grade and doing current events, and we kind of had to answer the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Well, it's very, very similar in a presentation, that there has to be really these 5 elements. I don't care if you're a car salesman or a paper salesman or an insurance salesman. You really need to have these 5 elements, and it might be in an elevator, it might be across the table, or it might be a PowerPoint presentation. But the elements of a presentation remain the same. And those elements are: first, rapport; second, discovery; third, recommendation; fourth, closing; and then next or final steps. And so the 5 elements of a colonial presentation begins with building rapport. And rapport is absolutely essential. In fact, if you've ever read anything by Dale Carnegie or had the privilege of taking a Dale Carnegie sales course like I did, they really made a big deal out of building great rapport. I mean, people buy from people they like. And so you want to build rapport. You don't want to just come in off the street and just start, show up and dump a bunch of information and show up and throw up kind of a deal. You want to build a little rapport. You want to come in, make a warm and personal connection with the person you're speaking to. Virtually, you can talk about anything. You can talk about, something, a picture on their wall, a banner, a jersey, a photo. You can talk about something on their desk. You could talk about the weather. You could talk about, what's happening in the local news. Be careful, you don't want to get too political or anything too hot of a topic. For me, my natural go-to is talking about their business. Usually there's something as I'm walking in. It might be their building. It might be their trucks. It might be, people I see, but, just kind of build some rapport, talking about something that I think they probably care about, which is their business. After we've built some rapport, and again, be careful, you don't want to get too caught up in spending too much time in the rapport, especially if you've made a promise of hey, look, I'm only going to take up 10 or 15 minutes of your time. So, you can't take 20 minutes building rapport if that's the case. The second step, the second element of the presentation is discovery. You have to ask discovery questions so that you can uncover the needs and the wants of the person that you're trying to sell. And so you don't want to assume that you know what their needs are. You don't want to assume that you know what their problems are, even though you probably do. You probably have a pretty good handle over their needs, but you want to ask those discovery questions. And believe it or not, those discovery questions actually carry on as part of your rapport building again. And so you ask those discovery questions. You want to know something about their business. You want to know what their needs are so that you can provide solutions. There's a couple different ways I've heard this described. One is by loading your gun, and so each question then becomes a bullet. And then so you ask a question: how many employees do you have? You ask a question, let's say in insurance, do you have any insurance? You ask a question, what are you looking for? And then at the end, you start shooting those bullets back. Well, you said that you were looking for insurance. You said that your employees didn't have any. You said that you were interested in XYZ. You uncover the needs. And then, you load your gun, or in the CAP equation, you fill your quiver. It's an arrow. And so at the right time during the presentation, you're going to take the arrow out of the quiver and shoot them with it. So discovery becomes everything. We're there to bring solutions to their problems, but you don't know what solution to give them if you haven't asked them what their problem is through discovery. Once we've discovered those points of interest, then what we want to do is provide the recommendation. The recommendation is the formal presentation part. The recommendation is the part where, you're in your formal presentation. You're going to give a big picture overview, who, what, when, where, why, who are you, what's the company, provide some basic history, build some credibility with the company you're with. But then we want to take the discovery and we want to provide, or focus on the areas from your discovery to provide those solutions, to answer those questions, to give recommendations. It would be no different than a doctor asking what the symptoms are and then providing the recommendation of exercise or health or pill or surgery. Same concept. And then finally, through this, we want to look at the closing statements. You want to use these key discovery points to close with specific recommendations. We've found that 83% of salespeople don't clearly and directly even ask for the sale. They're too shy, they're too bashful, they're too afraid. You must ask for the sale. You must close with specific recommendations. If I can provide this solution, then will you move forward with me? Is there any reason why we're not moving forward today? Do you have any questions or concerns? We would like to move forward. Ask specific questions. What date can we bring our team in? Be specific. Close. And then the final element of the presentation, which again a lot of people forget, because once they've closed, they've forgotten to provide the next steps, or they haven't closed and maybe they need the decision maker isn't the person that you're speaking to, and they need to go back and talk to a team or a board or the final decision maker. And so we need to review the next steps. We need to review the next course of action, specific action, benchmarks to move forward towards the close. Be sure to ask, what's your biggest concern with not buying today? What's your biggest concern with not moving forward today? And then get that and then provide, again, the solution. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back, put together a plan, put together a proposal so that we can take those next steps forward, so that we can, provide you with the solution to the problem that you need. So the 5 elements of a presentation: the process begins with rapport, moves to discovery, the recommendation, a close, and then the final or next steps.